Okay, so we're just going to be doing a few poses starting on the floor. So I've got my mat, I've got my dog, who's going to get out of the way in just a second, and I've got a blanket that I'm going to use to sit on. So the purpose of the blanket is to help you to sit up nice and straight. And if you can see, I'm just sitting on the very edge of the blanket. So the blanket's folded to a few layers, just sitting right on the edge there. What that allows me to do is to tip my pelvis forward. Actually a little bit too far, too close to the edge. So I can tip my pelvis forward, allows me to sit up really straight. So just give that a try and see how it works for you. So if you're not used to sitting on the floor, it might take a little while, but it's a good habit to get into. It's a good way to get started. So we're just going to start with legs out straight in front. Just taking a couple of nice deep breaths. So just aiming to keep your shoulders down away from your ears. Your back nice and straight and looking directly forward. Rest your hands on your legs. Just taking a few nice deep breaths right down into your belly. And if you want, you can rest your hand, one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. And as you breathe, you want to feel your chest lift and you want to feel a bit of expansion in your belly as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, your chest falls a little and your belly contracts. So if you actually close your eyes while you do this, it just helps you to be more aware of actually what's happening. You know, when you're looking around, everything is distracting you. So even just with your eyes forward, looking, you've just got sensory input coming in that distracts you a little. So if you close your eyes, or if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, just lower your gaze so your eyes are mostly closed. And just being aware of your breath coming into your chest, into your belly. So a lot of time as we're growing up, you know, we're kind of taught to hold on to our belly muscles, to always draw our stomach in. It actually stops you breathing properly. So we need to get out of that habit if you haven't already. And then just allowing your hands to come down onto your knees. You can open your eyes. As you get used to going through this practice and you can just listen to it, you can keep your eyes closed. So we're simply going to stretch the toes away, point the toes, and then bring the toes towards you. It might be easier if you bend your knees just a little bit. So toes towards you and then pointing the toes. You can inhale as the toes come towards you, exhale as they go away. It's just to keep you in time with your breath. You don't want it to be a rushed movement. It's a nice, slow, deliberate movement. Toes pointing away, toes coming up towards you. That's one more. And then letting your feet relax. Then taking your feet a little further apart. You're going to draw circles with your toes. So you're taking your toes out in every direction as far as you can. And again, it's a nice slow movement. So you want one breath to take you all the way around. So you can exhale as you move away, inhale as your toes come towards you. So ideally, you're going to do the movement just from your ankles. But if it's difficult to start with, you can move your knees as well. and just gradually work towards just moving the ankles. No, last one, and then we're going to go in the opposite direction. So both feet are going in the same direction and still in time with your own breath. So don't try and match my speed, because my breathing may be a different speed to yours. So just exhale as your toes go away. Inhale as they come up towards you. And coming back to the center. The last one with toes, I might just put my foot a little bit closer towards you. You're going to try and stretch all your toes out. So the little toe comes away, the big toe comes away, and then let them relax. Then again, stretch the toes out and let them relax. Stretch the toes out, let them relax. So you might find to start with that your toes really don't move that much at all. You know, the big toe might move, not the little toe. But just keep at it, and eventually you'll find that your toes will start to move. One more, and relax. So next one, we're going to bend the right leg. Bring that foot up alongside the thigh. Take that knee down towards the floor. So it may not go very far. It may be up here somewhere. That's fine. Wherever you are to start with, that's fine. The other leg is straight, the toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then just gently allowing that knee to just bounce. So if you're more flexible, the knee may come further down. Or you can bring the foot up on top of the thigh and then allow it to have that bit of a bounce up and down. So just go wherever is right for you. Don't overdo it. And bringing that foot back down, taking that leg out straight, bringing the other leg up. Again, letting the foot come, it might come to the knee, it might come up alongside the thigh. And either just letting that knee bounce. So it's just giving you a bit of movement into the hip joint, or bringing it up on top of the thigh and doing the same thing. And relaxing that leg down. Just give both of your legs a little bit of a shake. And then pausing for a couple of breaths. Okay, then you're going to bring both arms out in front and stretch your fingers out. So fingers stretched out to either side, and then taking your fingertips down towards the floor and up towards the ceiling. Down towards the floor, up towards the ceiling. So aiming just to move from the wrist. One more. Down, up, and relax the arms down. Then just bringing up the right arm, and you can either just have your arm up or you can support it with the other hand. Make a fist, taking your thumb inside your fingers, and then just drawing circles. So again, the movement is coming from the wrist. It's not the whole arm moving. And it's quite good to start with, to hold on to your arm, because that keeps the arm steady as well. So just nice and slow. So you want one full breath to take you all the way around. So you can exhale as your fingers go down, inhale as they come back up. And go in the opposite direction. Exhaling down, inhaling up. And letting the arm relax down. And then the other arm, bringing the arm up, holding onto it with the opposite hand, putting the thumb inside the fingers, and then starting to draw those circles. So it's the wrist and the fist are making those circles. So inhaling up, exhaling down, nice and slow. So any of these movements, when you feel comfortable with them, close your eyes. It just gives you a lot more awareness of what you're doing. And the opposite direction. Remember to do it nice and slowly. And release that arm down. So for the next movement, I'm just going to take my chin down to my chest. You're going to be drawing semicircles. So you just rest your hands on your legs. Just remember, keep those shoulders back, chest lifted, chin down to the chest. As you inhale, just draw a semicircle up to the shoulder. Exhale back to center. Inhale back to the other shoulder. Exhale to center. Inhale up. Exhale back. So going from one side to the other. Inhaling as you come up. Exhaling as you go back to center. So you can either close your eyes or you can follow the movement with your eyes. Just taking your eyes out to the edge of the room. The next time your chin comes back to the center, just pausing there and then inhaling to lift your head back up to the center. Then doing a similar thing with your chin parallel to the floor. So again, awareness to your back, awareness to your shoulders, down away from your ears. Take an inhale. As you exhale, turning your head to look over your right shoulder. Exhale back to center. Inhale across to the opposite side. Exhale back to center. Just keeping going with that movement. And with your next inhalation, as you come back to center, just pausing there. Okay, for our next move, we're going to come up onto all fours. So you might want to, if you're using a blanket, just to move your blanket out of the way. Coming up onto all fours. So you want your fingertips spread out You want your wrists directly under your shoulder and your hips directly over your knees. So it might take a little while to get used to getting that right position, but just do the best you can. And spreading the fingers out so you've got a gap between each of the fingers. We're just going to come to a cat-cow movement. Exhale, your belly comes up towards the ceiling, your tailbone drops and your head drops. And then inhaling, tailbone comes up, belly drops, head comes up. And keeping going with that movement. Take time with your breath. Inhaling to drop your belly, lift your tailbone, lift your head. Exhaling to drop the tailbone, drop the head, lift the belly. You want to make it a wave-like movement. So first your tailbone moves, your tailbone comes up, your belly drops, your head comes up. And then starting at the tailbone again, the tailbone goes down, belly comes up, head comes down. So it's a nice wave-like movement. Tailbone, belly, head. Tailbone, belly, head. So it just means you're getting that flexibility through your spine as you do this movement. Exhaling as your belly comes up. Inhaling as the belly comes down. So it's a cat-cow. And the cat is with the back arched. The cow is with the belly down. So with your next exhalation, just coming back to a neutral puppy position. And we're going to come into child's pose. And child's pose is the important one that you can always use just as a resting pose anytime you feel like it, but we often also do it between poses. So you're going to keep your toes together, bring your knees out quite wide, sit back onto your heels, or as close as you can to sitting back on your heels, and then walking your hands forward. Bring your head down towards the floor. Now if that's hard for your head to come down to the floor, you can bring both your hands under your head. You can make fists and rest your head, or you could put one fist on top of the other and rest your head. So it's your forehead is resting on the fists. So to start with, your tailbone might not come down towards the floor either. So just wherever you come to start with is fine, and it will gradually loosen up. So just closing your eyes, taking a few nice deep breaths. And we're going to come back up to all fours, but before I do, I'm just going to show you a different version of that pose. So you can do it with your knees together and taking your hands behind you, bringing your head down. So again, you can still let your head rest on your hands. Now having your knees together, it's a lot more constricting for your breath, and also if you've got a big chest, it can be a little compressing. It's also doing that with your knees a little bit apart. So the nice thing about doing it like this is you can really let your shoulders relax. The back of your hands rest on the floor. And inhaling, coming up nice and slowly. So if ever you feel dizzy when you come up from a pose like that, just simply sit for a couple of minutes. Just let your breath come back to normal. Then we're going to move on to the next pose. So coming towards the front of your mat. So you still want your wrists under your shoulders, your fingers spread out, pushing down nice and firmly into the mat with your hands. You can take an inhalation. Then you're going to tuck your toes under on your right leg and stretch that heel back. So as you exhale, you're going to stretch out through that back heel and then inhale to bring that leg back in. Exhale, tuck the opposite toes, stretch that leg out along the mat, stretch through the heel, inhale, bring it back in. So just going from one side to the other, tucking the toes, stretching the leg out, exhaling, really stretching through that heel, inhale, bringing it back in, moving to the opposite side. So you're using the exhalation to stretch out through the heel, inhaling to come back in, and not trying to match the speed I'm going at your own speed in time with your own breath. One more to either side. And just coming back to neutral puppy. And then just coming to lie down on your back. So you might want to put the blanket under your head. I'll explain the purpose of that. So when you lie down, you might find that your chin points up towards the ceiling, and just having the cushion there just allows you to keep that chin just more in a neutral position. Okay, so keeping your knees bent, just going to bend the right knee, interlock the hands around the knee and hug that knee in towards your chest. Now if by any chance your hands don't come around your knee, you can always take them around the back of the thigh. So as you exhale, you're going to hug that knee in. As you inhale, let it move away. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale, let it move away. If it feels okay, try straightening the other leg out along the floor. And carry on. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale, let it move away. So you want to have both feet quite flexed at the ankles. And hugging in into the chest. Okay, and then for the next couple, you're going to hug it into the armpit rather than into the chest. So as you hug in, just move across to the right, hugging towards the armpit. Exhale, let it move away. Inhale, hug in. Exhale, let it move away. The next breath, you're going to, as you inhale, bring it back into the chest. So you're just bringing it back to center, then letting that foot come down to the floor. Let the knee remain bent. Bend the opposite knee as well. And then interlocking your fingers around the left knee. Exhaling, hug it in. Inhale, let it move away. Exhale, hug into the chest. Inhale, let it move away. Exhale, hugging in. And if it feels okay, Straightening the other leg out along the floor. And the next couple, going across towards the armpit as you hug in. Same thing, exhaling to hug in, inhaling to let it move away, and in time with your own breath always. One more. So the next one, coming back to center, hugging into the chest, letting that leg come down to the floor, knees bent. Bring the other knee up so both knees are bent. Letting your hands relax down on the floor. So for the next one, we're probably better off without the blanket, but you can keep it if you really need it. It's going to bring the hands face up on the floor. And it's up to you whether you have your knees bent or whether you straighten your legs out. I'm just going to draw angel wings. So you're going to inhale, sweep your arms along the floor, up over your head. And then exhale, bringing them back down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. One more. Inhale up. And exhale down. And then bringing your hands over your head. So palms up, perpendicular to the floor. Then inhale, lifting your arms up. Exhale, taking them all the way over your head down to the floor. Inhale, back up to perpendicular. Exhale, down to the floor. Couple more. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. So next time your hands come up over your head, just letting the hands come flat on the floor, then stretching out through the fingertips and through the toes. Just stretching out through your whole body. And then relax. So for the next one, we're going to bring your arms to what I call stop signs. So your hands up like stop signs, and then you're going to let your hands come down until the hands touch the floor. So as you bring them down, see if you can bring your wrist down, and then the backs of your hands, and then your fingers. Just taking some nice deep breaths there. So wherever you get to, your hands might back, your wrists might not actually come down to the floor, but just wherever you are, just taking some nice deep breaths. And then just relaxing your arms down by your sides, closing your eyes for a couple of breaths, just letting your whole body relax into the floor. Just for a couple of breaths. you're going to bend your knees. You want your feet out almost as wide as the mat. Then bringing your arms up to shoulder height. The palms flat down on the floor. Take an inhale. As you exhale, take both knees down to the floor on one side of your body. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knees to the opposite side. Inhale up to center. Exhale down to the side. So then you're going to bring your head into it as well. So each time your knees go down to one side, your head turns to the opposite side. So you're getting a nice twist all the way through your body. Inhaling to center, exhaling down. Again, you can close your eyes as you're doing this, or you can follow the movement with your eyes. So the next time your knees come down on the right, you're going to pause with your knees down, your head to the opposite side, and then taking the bottom foot, you're going to rest it on top of the top knee. So your right ankle is resting on top of your left knee. And turning your head, just allowing your body to relax into that position. So it's really nice to close your eyes here. Just make sure your breath is nice and slow and going all the way down into your belly. With an inhalation, you're going to bring your head back to center and release that foot down to the floor. Take an exhalation, inhale your knees back to center, exhale them across to the opposite side. And again, the bottom foot, so this time the left foot is going to rest on top of the right knee. And it's resting at about the ankle height. Turning your head to the opposite side. Then letting your body relax into that nice twist. So closing your eyes if you feel comfortable to close your eyes. Yes, remembering to let your breath come right down into your belly. And releasing that top foot. Inhaling the knees and your head back to center. And your hands come down by your sides. And bring both knees into your chest. Interlock your hands around your knees. Hug them in. So you can bring your hands behind your thighs if that's easier. Just exhale, hug your knees in. Inhale, let them move away. Let's do that for a couple of breaths. And then separating your hands, so one hand on each knee, the fingers pointing down towards your toes. You're going to draw very small circles with your knees. So nice and slow. So you can exhale, let the knees move away. Inhale, let them come towards you. And just feeling into that massage on the base of your spine. And gradually making those circles bigger. So as you feel into that on the base of your spine, you can choose to either do big circles or small circles, just whichever feels nice to you. And then gradually coming back to center. Then you're going to swap into the opposite direction. And starting again with small circles, but nice and slow small circles. And being aware of that massage on the base of your spine. And then doing some larger circles. And then just deciding which feels nicer. Is it small circles? Is it large circles? Whichever feels nicer. Just continuing with that. Just making sure they're nice, slow circles. And coming back to the center, just hug your knees in once more. Let your feet come down to the floor, knees bent. So we're just going to have our last final position in yoga is always Shavasana. Just lying down, letting your body absorb what's been happening. So you might want to bring that blanket back in to rest your head. Hands down by your sides, a little bit away from your body. Ideally your legs out straight, but you can keep them bent if you need to. And your feet slightly apart and allowing your feet to flop apart. And then simply closing your eyes. Just watching your breath as it comes in and out. Just doing a scan through your body. So feeling the different joints and muscles that have moved. Letting yourself be aware of how they feel. So it's always good to stay in this position for at least a couple of minutes. But if you've got time to do it for longer, it'd be great to stay here for 5 or 10 minutes. And then opening your eyes. So to get up, you're going to bend your knees. You're going to roll over onto your right side. And then just staying there for a couple of breaths. So we're not rushing anything. And then using your hands to bring yourself all the way up to sitting. So you might want to sit back on your mat, on your blanket. However you feel comfortable, come to sitting. And we'll bring our hands together at our heart. Namaste.